Hello everyone, my name is SiC and welcome back to Anno 1800. Some of you guys will have seen my playthrough for the closed beta, but today is the release of the official game. So everybody can join in on the fun and, well, now we also have access to the campaign. Now the campaign was available last weekend for a short duration when they had an open beta which everyone could join, which, well, I think bodes extremely well for a lot of games if they are confident enough to basically invite the world to play the game for free just before release. And yeah, so here we are. Now we're going to start a new game and we are going to start playing through the campaign. Now apparently, and this is something I read about before, the campaign actually takes place on the same map constantly, and eventually it merges into the sandbox, or into sandbox gameplay. So eventually the story will be done, but it will not be the end of the playthrough, or it doesn't have to be. Which is kind of cool. Now I do think the map will be fixed and it will not be randomly generated a la the sandbox mode, but that is fine for me. I did play it a little bit during the open beta, so I know a little bit about the first things that are going to happen, but I don't mind too much and hope you guys don't either. Now, as for guidance, we will take less guidance, because I am at this point a little more than a bit familiar with Anno 1800, as I have played the closed beta, I have the closed alpha, the closed beta, a little bit of the closed open beta, sorry. Though that was only for a few hours. Now, anyway, and the reason I only played for a few hours was not because I didn't want to play more than that, but I was away for the weekend, so I could not basically play more than that. Now we do have some locked characters, this is interesting. Back in business, fake news, and the Empire, and so on. So apparently we can unlock some new characters, which is kind of cool. I think these are milestones in the campaign, so these should eventually unlock for us. Then we have some exclusive club reward unlocks, which basically belong to Uplay. And what is this? This is also part of the campaign, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure. Now these are not paid for to get these. You can unlock these simply by unlocking some achievements in the game or something, I think. So not that big of a deal, and it's only cosmetic anyway. Anyway, let's pick a character, because we have a lot of choices. We could play as a Chinese girl, we could play as whoever this guy is, I'm not sure. But I think the guy that comes closest to me in appearance in real life is probably this guy. Same kind of beard, same kind of haircut. Maybe I'm going a little bit more bald than this dude. And he doesn't have the same color of eyes, but yeah, I like his look. Anyway, as for a logo, I have unlocked several free ones from the Uplay store. Doesn't really matter all that much, but it's something you'll have to look at throughout the entire campaign, so something less generic would be cool. There are a bunch more that you can unlock through the Uplay service. There are a few free ones that I have already unlocked, some that belong, for example, this one belongs to the settlers, not that interesting. This one also not really all that cool. One of them, this one, requires you to own one of the previous Anno games, 2205 or something like that. It's basically a rocket going to space, which, doesn't fit the theme. I don't want it. This one is kind of cool, because this, to me, this kind of looks like Yggdrasil, the world tree. The lion could be cool, it's a bit generic, but well, I was born in August, so it would fit. And it's Leo after all. Yin and Yang, it's also pretty cool. Ships and all that. This one is kind of cool as well. You know what, I'm going to go for that one. Now, as for the color, we are going to pick purple, why not? Let's go for purple. As for the name, of course, I am SiC, and we will accept nothing else. Let's continue on. Ooh, let's have a look. So, because I pre-ordered the game and I have the deluxe edition, I have access to the Imperial pack. We have the Imperial train. We can choose alternative skins for your vehicles in the game. These skins cannot be changed once the game is started. So if you click this, we can turn it off, which well, might as well turn it on, right? So we have the Imperial Command Ship, which is also kind of interesting, and we have the Anno 1602 Memorial, which is an additional ornament which we can build in the game, and it doesn't really do anything except for look pretty, basically. I really like this statue though, it is really cool. So, I will leave all those on, and as for the difficulty, I think we're going to start with Advanced, because normal, it's a bit easy, not really all that interesting, and yeah. Yeah, let's make things really interesting. Let's go for Expert mode. We will have a lot less starting capital. We will have a small world and islands, few minerals, low fertility. I don't know, this might hamstring us in the campaign. You know what, let's just go for Advanced. Yeah? This is basically normal mode. It says this is normal mode, but this is the one in the center, so this is easy to me, that is normal to me, and this is hard for me. But yeah, I think we are going to encounter some opposition at some point in the game, which means combat, which means, well, I probably don't want to hamstring myself too much in the campaign, because I do want to finish it. And I'll stop talking now, let's start the game.
Since that day you saved my life, I have presumed I knew you. But now, 1,000 letters from your father go unopened, yet one scribbled from your sister changes everything? I didn't even know you had a sister. We are broke, old pal. We can't afford a passage back to your old world, back to your family. Not unless you suddenly remembered what work is. Dynamite fishing? You're serious? Well, the village north is always short on food.
Alright, so we're going to start off...
Remember when we escaped the pits back when? Still some dynamite left.
We're going to start off with a bit of a tutorial, of course, but man, look at these graphics. Now, I'm not playing this on Ultra, by the way. I'm running this on DirectX 11, and I am running this on high settings. Because having this on Ultra, it doesn't run smoothly for me. This, right now, I have 50 frames per second, roughly, which is okay for me. But man, look at the reflection on the water and the way you can see the bottom of the ocean. It is absolutely beautiful. And of course we can go into postcard mode and have a look around. It's really, really cool. Anyway, let's select our ship and move it close to the lighthouse, which is our objective.
Here it is. Just get plenty of distance on the throw.
Alright. Picked ourselves up some sticks of dynamite. And now we have to go fishing. So we have 3 swarms over here, it seems. These two are quite close together, so we'll...
All the blistered fish they could ever want.
Got 2 of them at once, which is really cool.
What the chimichurri was that, boom?
And these guys are heading our way.
You do
There we
have
go.
an eye for opportunity. After all, it's not TNT the locals are short of. All the blistered fish they could ever want.
Alright, so let's turn in this fish, and then we can be on our way.
Ah, that burnt reek. Ugh. Hand over whatever it is and I'll help you get rid of it. Here are
Alright.
your tickets. Hurry, drifters. The boat is leaving soon, and nobody wants you to miss it.
So, this is it. We're leaving paradise behind. You never talked much about family and the like. But you're dead serious about this, aren't you? No matter. I made a vow to defend you, and I don't break an oath. Even if a blind man could see you leap into the deepest pit of dung.
I have never asked anything of you, firstborn. Not when you stole away a tiptoe, leaving the family burden at your little sister's door. Our father is accused of high treason. Dare you to believe it? Will you now stand by, knowing gentle father is indungeoned? It must kill him. Please come home. We need you. Is it really you, dearest sibling? I never dared hope you'd return. Do you remember Bright Sands? Of course you do. We loved it here. It's changed now. The Royal Council support Uncle Edvard. Father barely cold, and he's pulling everything down.
Those houses. You never said how wealthy you were. Why were we selling fish and sleeping in barns?
Never told your friend of Good and Sons? There is much to be said, but not now. Dear father's funeral begins.
Where have you been? Without you brats, we'll never be done with this obligation.
Looks like Death claimed the wrong brother.
No matter so few are here, when they are the few he loved most.
Nobody likes a traitor, let alone his tainted offspring. Better make yourself scarce.
We shall, dear sibling, for now. I have acquired a small island with the last of my funds, and passage for all still loyal to father. Together, we shall clear his name, or die trying.
Your sister reminds me of you. Must mean new adventures await, old pal.
This is it. Ditch water. End of the world. I hope you like it quiet.
I do, in fact. Alright, so we have acquired a new island opposite the shore of our hated uncle. Or, well, the uncle who apparently clearly hates us. And here we go into chapter 1, A Tale of Two Brothers.
What? Still here? Establishing a rival company on that disheveled island?
Indeed.
Let Uncle Edvard scoff. A modest island, yes, but if you're at all like father, you'll look beyond appearances.
Look at how beautiful this
We
land
must
is.
shelter the good, loyal people who have shown solidarity with our family.
Look at that, we have a
We need
ruined
every
residence
hand
district.
we can get if we are to expunge this debris.
Alright, so we have to start building, and what we need to do first is we need to build a marketplace. We need to have 10 farmer residences, and we have to attract 10 farmers. So, in true RTS tutorial fashion, things start off kind of slow, but let's start with a marketplace. Right, so let's have a look what I want to do here. We could place this basically anywhere we wanted to, which let's have a look around the island here, because I know what I did in the closed beta, or in the open beta, sorry, because that's the first time we had access to this. And really we don't have a huge amount of choice. We could start over here. No, we cannot actually start over here. This construction area is blocked. And that is because this is gated off in a story mission. Or we could start over here, we could start over there, it doesn't really matter all that much. But of course we have some resources over here. We got a clay pit, so another clay pit over here, and so on. Which doesn't really make this ideal. So we can start close to this area. I guess we can basically start using this whole area up here. So we can line this out with the harbor, sorry. And yeah. I don't know how many spaces I've got. We could line this out perfectly if we really, really wanted to. But for now, I guess we could line this up with the edge of the black lines. There we go. Right, so now of course we need a farmer residence, but we also need to connect everything up by road. Otherwise, none of these guys can actually have access to goods. So in order for the market to function, we do need to have access to this road. Now, 10 farmer residences are in order, so we can drag this out. These are 8.
You
10.
reached a new milestone.
The age of agriculture. I think I actually want to drag out this road a little bit to the left so that this lines out a little bit
Do you
more
remain
nicely.
here out of spite? Or is this some futile attempt at competition? As you are so desperate to appear responsible, you'll be pleased to hear the cost of that fantastical funeral falls to you.
Of course it does, because he's an asshole.
Miserly, uncharitable dastard, picking and choosing what he inherits.
Right, so now we basically have to wait until we get 20 farmers. Now each house will hold up until 10 farmers. So we have 10 of those. Now these guys will not start filling up all the way to 10 unless they have some things that they really want. And we have to wait until we have about 50 farmers until we can make a fishery. So I guess this will fill out eventually. Now for that we could speed up time, but first let's go into postcard view and have a look at this ugly looking land. Now looking at all of these empty, desolate buildings. And we are straight in the middle of that. That is really bad. Let me just take a screenshot because I need a thumbnail for this video, and I think this would do quite well to show our humble beginnings. And we do have a pretty nice waterfall over here. Look at that. Now, we have to build a bridge across this, and we can definitely do that, but it does require wood to be built. So we cannot do that straight away, and we cannot do it without cost. Now another thing, of course, that I did mention in the closed beta videos
Slander, Edvard Prince and Bright Sands.
is that we have the height differences in this game now.
Child, is it? Thank heavens. I am so ashamed of every single word your uncle had me print.
Right. So, those voiceovers clearly were for the first introduction to the newspaper feature. Edvard the Savior. Mr. Edvard Good speaks of a bold new era for Good and Sons, nobly bearing the burden. Terrible traitor brother dropped at his door. Traitor dies mysteriously in prison. Reports Samuel Good couldn't face humiliation of a trial. Miserable few at funeral, still more than Judas ever deserved. This is our father, by the way, in case you've forgotten. Island Sail Calamity.
Wouldn't have wanted us to sit on our hands while our one prospect was in such a state.
Right. Give me some time, I'm reading the newspaper,
So
damn
let's
it.
gather our townsfolk and ask them to spruce the place up.
Right. Island Sail Calamity. Empire rocked by sale of strategic island's prosperity. Young queen facing first major crisis thanks to Samuel Good's active treason. So apparently there was an island called Prosperity which was sold, and this is what our father is blamed with and what he is marked a traitor for. So let's confirm
He
this.
twists every article in his favor at our and father's expense.
Right, so now that we have 50 people, we can actually use those people to slowly clear the debris of the island. So once we click on this, a little progress bar pops up, and this is the progress bar of removing all of this debris. And this will basically open up this area for construction.
Mourning is eased. Now we have others for company, sibling.
Right. That immediately takes away the fog as well,
It's been
and
a hard day of labor for us all.
we
should
get some free
cater
timber.
to our tired, hungry people.
right, so we want a fishery. We can put the fishery right next to the harbor building, because why not? And it even has access to the road straight away. So this is now functioning perfectly, and now these people will start receiving fish. And hopefully, right now, these guys will not advance past the 5 people mark. And I think they still need to have access to work clothes before they can actually advance beyond this. So that means, well, basically the fish will allow them to go up to 7 or 8 maybe, but we will not get to 100 farmers unless we build the work clothes. But in order to build the work clothes, we need 100 farmers. Basically, that means we have to build some more houses. Right, so we will drag
We're
out
running low on timber,
another group.
but there's plenty in the ruins. We should clear some to stock up.
Alright, so let's try to clear another one. You need more people before you can demolish these ruins. Now, I'm not sure how many we need entirely, but we will find out pretty soon. Meanwhile though, the fish is starting to come in. Now, of course, as I said, this is the tutorial of the campaign, and as such, it is quite a bit slower than the sandbox would normally be. We could start building some other things though. We don't need wood to build the lumberjack's hut, so we can have 2 of those. And we also don't need any timber to build a sawmill, which is fantastic. So basically, these things only cost us some workers, some maintenance costs, and some basic upfront construction costs. Now we have workers, so we might as well start putting them to work, right? Yeah. So for now, I think we will start building these guys off by the coast a little bit. And we could start one over here. Well, it's not really ideal, but we're going to do so anyway.
A new milestone.
And we're going to build one over there. And we're going to hook them up by road. Right, straight across from each other. And from there, we will start building a sawmill. Now the sawmill...
Help enough to demolish the larger ruins. Let's breathe some life into this place.
will fit in nicely right
Timber,
there.
very good. I'll try not to think of the coffin.
Right, so these guys are not working quite yet because they are still planting forests. So we have a progress bar for that, and once this is full, they will start working. First though, let's have a look. Because I think, yeah, it produces a piece of wood every 15 seconds. This sawmill produces a piece of timber every 15 seconds. So I think we only need one of these for this thing to function. So we could build another one, because we have plenty of workers. Right, so let's build another one right there, I guess.
Game saved.
Now, we can start removing this one. So this is kind of telling us what we can and cannot destroy at the moment, but later on, as we have more people, we can start demolishing more and more things. Clear any small ruin for timber. Alright, so we have a small ruin over here as well, I think. No, that doesn't count as a small ruin. We can destroy that one
It's been a
though.
long, hard day. The people need to rest and maybe wet their whistles.
Alright, so another objective pops up. We need to have schnapps. And we need to attract 150 farmers, which we are on the way on, or on the way towards. We can start by finishing off that building as well. We need a pub. The pub is locked behind the requirement of 150 farmers. But as for the schnapps, we can start making those now. So we will have some maintenance costs associated with that, the basic construction cost as well as a timber need. And of course it requires 20 farmers. Now, the potatoes will be made every 30 seconds, and the schnapps will also be working every 30 seconds. So, one-on-one works pretty well for me. However, I want this to be a little bit away from our main area. Right, so apparently we can destroy this small abandoned sawmill as well. And in that particular case, I would like to start making that farm over in this area. So, on that note, we should build a road here. And I want this road to go beyond the forested area, so we will not intrude too much. Right now, a house takes up 3 slots. So we will be able to fit 1 house in here. And then this one, and then we will basically, if we build a road over here, that might not impact the production of the lumberjack's hut too much. Which means we will destroy these houses, and if we build houses over here, it will be okay, I think. But we'll see. We'll see. So, we got some timber, and now I would like to have a small warehouse over in this area. Now let's see if we can line this up with this thing. And I think we will. So we're just going to use the edge of the black lines there, along with the road. Now I would like to have the road extending all the way around it, because this way we will ensure that the market carts can reach it from every side. And I think that's going to be important. As for schnapps production, we can start by building a farm right here at the edge. Now, the farms are going to need fields, and we need to manually place those, and we can give them any shape we like as long as it's connected to the actual farm building. So I think we're just going to take this opportunity to stretch something out, like so, and I don't want this to be separated from the road. So we're going to connect the last few modules right next to the road and leave this tiny little bit of space open. Now, on top of that, we will need 50 workers for a distillery. Now, the potato farm produces every 30 seconds, so does the schnapps distillery. So we're just going to place that distillery on the other side of the road. Like so. Right, that will be pretty cool. Now, as for houses, let's see, this one will fit right there. We will have one here, another one there, and another one there. Okay, so that works out, so we can have another 2 over here. It does mean that this road placement does not work for us. So we're going to connect the road up like this, and we can have another block of housing right here. Or we can maybe build a pub there as well. Right? So the pub, we don't have one yet. It actually does fit in here neatly, which is kind of cool. We could also fit one in here, I guess. We could build houses on the other side of it, and we can have a few bits of trees along the back of the tavern to pretty up the island a bit as well. So let me just... Yeah. So we have the entrance to the pub there. The entrance to the cellar for the wine, or for the schnapps, along the back road there. That actually makes a lot of sense in the way we have laid that out. And it doesn't have to make sense, but it is cool that it does. Now, as for the trees, I would like to have some mature trees along the back there. So we're just going to draw a small line of trees there, like so. And we're going to drag that road out like there, like that. Now we have 2 blocks that we can fill up with houses again, which is going to be super nice. Right, now the warehouse is a bit away from the production area, but we have left space to basically add more of these fields along here, with more distilleries along that side of the road, which I think is going to be cool. As for workloads though, which is by now another requirement, we need 10 workers for a sheep farm, which produces every 30 seconds. And we need 50 workers for the framework knitters, which also requires 50 workers. So we need 60 in total. We only have 35. But at the moment, these houses are not filled up completely. Now, once they start getting access to the sheep farm and the workloads, these houses will fill up, and it will probably end up giving us the amount of workers we need. So, let me just start by putting down a sheep farm over here. Now, the sheep farm requires fields as well. It only needs 3 of them, however, and we can place those around here quite neatly. On top of that, of course, we will need the framework knitters. Now, at first, this is not going to start working at maximum productivity, and that is fine. It doesn't matter. We're going to turn it around like so. We're going to extend the road a little bit. And then we will have all the basic requirements for these people to be happy in place. Except for... yeah, the schnapps are filling up, they have access to the pub. After this, I think we could also just add a few more farmer residences here. We might as well. We have the materials. So there we go. Alright, and now we have been playing for a while already. Now, I'm going to end this episode by just placing a road around here, just to make sure that I will not build anything within this radius, so that this building can keep producing at a maximum rate of efficiency, except for putting the road right there, so this hooks up nicely. So it does cover 1 tile, but I don't think the lumberjack's hut actually minds all that much
since the funeral.
For roads.
And the cost! Oh, why, it was extortionate.
Right, so
Repay me now, or sell up.
now we have started making schnapps. Uncle Edvard shows up,
I
the
feel
utter asshole.
sick to the stomach that Edvard could ask so much of us so soon after father's death.
Yeah. Basically, he wants 4 tons of schnapps. Now, we have only just started producing this, and it's going to take a little while for this to fill up. Right now, it's not at maximum efficiency of production. That is, of course, because we don't have 50 workers here yet, or 50 farmers here. Because the workers are, of course, the next tier of workforce. But we have added these extra houses, and since these are only 3 out of 10,
Your people
right now,
are recovered and
we start
desirous to proceed.
having-
Set them to it. We're going to need as much space as we can clear.
right, we start having a surplus of workers again. Right, so we can start taking apart this abandoned group of shacks as well. Now, look at that. Things are starting to clear up a little bit, and we are starting to slowly fill in the island. But that's it for this episode, so please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more. And I will see you guys for whatever video I do next.